I'm going to talk about my top 3 ways today to build your credit or establish credit if you're new to credit in just a minute. Thank you again for tuning in. I am Star Carter, and I appreciate all the love and support, all the new subscribers. Thank you so much for subscribing to my channel and giving me awesome feedback on the information and content that I have been providing on this new channel. So thank you again. Much gratitude to you. So if you have not subscribed, please consider subscribing, liking the video, and leaving me a comment and letting me know if this information was something new or if you got anything that you would like to add. So I really do appreciate it again. So let's get into today's topic. Today's topic is my top 3 ways to either build your credit back up or to establish credit. Okay, so like I was telling you before, if you haven't seen my other video where I talked about the credit card 101, about how I started my credit journey when I was 18, I got my first Discover card. But let me backtrack a little bit. So before I turned 18, I had got my first job at Burger King, and my grandmother, she took me to, at the time, it was called Nations Bank, but eventually became Bank of America, and I set up my very first bank account so that I could cash my little Burger King checks every Friday when I got paid. So that was my very first bank account because my grandma had that account with Nations Bank, and she took me to her bank to open up my very first account. Okay, so that's how I started with my first bank. And then from there, she took me to what we call here in the South a finance company and got me a little starter loan for like $300, and then I paid that off. And so that she co-signed with me on. So that's how I was able to get the Discover card by the time I was 18, because I did have a little bit established credit by that time with my grandmother being a co-signer for me. But now that I am older, I am 44, I found out, and being in banking since 2007, I found out there is a much better and a much easier way to get credit established for a new person. Like if you got a teenager now that, like my son just graduated from college, he's 21, but he wound up like needing credit to get his very first apartment, because believe it or not, guys, you need your credit for so much nowadays. You need your credit so that you don't have to pay high deposits on apartments, on your utilities, on your insurance, even jobs pull your credit now. There's so many more reasons why you need to have good personal credit. And so so I had to help my son establish credit, and it is in these top 3. So let's go ahead and get into it now. So my very first one is secure. You want to do a secure loan. Okay, so what a secure loan is, you will go to your bank, and now I would prefer a credit union. I am biased to credit unions because that's where I got my start, but I would prefer you have a relationship with a credit union to do a secure loan with. And the reason why I say that is because they have very low rates. The credit union culture is all about the member. You're not a customer, you're a member with them. And I love that culture. And like I said, I am slightly biased to the credit unions because that's where I got my start. That's where I got my first job in finance back in 2007. And I am very biased to the credit union because I love the credit union culture. And you can see where the credit union culture is spreading into the actual banking industry now, but I just love the credit union culture. So with that being said, I would suggest a secure loan. And what a secure loan is that you're taking your money and borrowing it from yourself, but the credit union or the bank is going to actually turn right back. They're going to take your money, put it in a loan origination, and then turn around and give it back to you. And then you will, in Central, you will be paying yourself back. And in turn, they will report this on your credit report. Now, one thing about a secure loan, like a lot of people don't understand, even though it's your money, you still have to make on-time payments. You still have to make sure that you do everything that you would if it wasn't secure, okay? So you want to make sure that you do everything that you're supposed to do with that secure loan. But a secure loan is a way of establishing credit with a low interest rate. And when my grandma took me to a finance company when I was 17 or however old I was, and she co-signed for me, I'm pretty sure that interest rate at the time was probably crazy, because those type of companies are known for having just crazy interest rates, right? So with a secure loan from a credit union or from a bank, they will have the very best interest rates for you as a new established loan, okay? With a secure with your secured money to back the loan up, okay? So my number 2 is same on the same lines, a secure credit card. Okay, so a secure credit card, most of the times you can also do that the same way that you would do a secure loan with a bank or with a credit union. I always say I prefer a credit union to do that type of work with, but a secure credit card. So you'll do the same thing. You will put up your money for the credit card. So a lot of times you can get a secure loan for, a secure credit card for as low as $300. And sometimes you can get a secure loan as low as $300. So you just want to check with your local bank and your local credit union to see if these are available and what's the minimum you can do the loan for and what's the max. If you're going to do a credit card, I will always say do at least $1,000. And the reason why I say that is because, like my other video, credit utilization, the closer you are to having a limit, the less money you can spend, because you want to be under the 30%, as I said in my previous video. So if you only got $300 limit on the card, then that means you only can use $30 before the statement actually, like I was saying, before the statement actually posts. So if you can't use but $30 on the card and you're scared that it's gonna max out, or it's so close to being maxed out with just a $300 limit, then you wanna opt for the higher limit, the $1,000. That's a great starter amount for somebody that's just establishing credit or rebuilding your credit. $1,000 limit. I would say put $1,000 on there if you can, okay? So my last one, and this really is what I did for my son to help him. And actually when I did this, his credit, he had no credit, and all of a sudden his credit was over 700. He had I think his score was like 730, 740, because his credit mimicked mine. And that is be added on somebody else's good credit card as an authorized user. So number 3 is being added as an authorized user on somebody else good credit in their card. Because what happened is I put him on a card that I had for probably like 10 years. And I've always been on time. I've always made good payments. They have increased my limit over time because of that good credit history with them. And so my history with that credit card, then when I added him as an authorized user, it then transferred over into his credit history. So now everything that I've done positive, he has benefited from that. And now when he went and got his apartment and where he is at, he was able to get it with like the deposit was only $300 versus matching rent for rent, just like $1,700, because his credit score was over 700. And so now insurance, all that jazz, utilities and all that jazz, he didn't even have to the utilities, he didn't even have to put a deposit because of that. So that is my number 1 way. If you have a credit card, especially if you're a parent, if you have a credit card that's already established, already has a good payment history, the card is not maxed out. That's the key. You want to make sure that the card is under the 30% utilization, because then if it's not, you will be transferring bad debt, because you do not want to transfer your child or anybody else on a card that the utilization is over. You don't want to give them that. You don't want to do that. But if the card is in good standing, great utilization on the card, then yes, please add them as an authorized user. And you do not have to give them the card. That's the thing. You can add them as an authorized user with their name. Some social security number can be optional, depends on the credit card lender. But you want to, so you don't have to give him the card, because I didn't give my son the card. I trust my son, but I don't even want to give him the temptation because it's a high limit on the card. So I just authorized him as a user on the card, and he is able to benefit from my good payment history and from my length of credit that, and therefore he didn't get a hard inquiry. Okay, he didn't get a hard inquiry on his report, and that's another thing that I like about the top two that I told you. You want to make sure when you get a secure loan or secure credit card that those companies or institutions, hopefully you're doing it from a credit union or your local bank, and make sure that they're not going to do a hard inquiry on a secure loan, because there's no point in doing a hard inquiry. You're securing it with your own money. So that's one thing that you want to check. Make sure that they're not going to do a hard inquiry on your report for those things. So an authorized user, there is no credit check for you to add somebody to your card. Like I said, I didn't give my son the card, but there is a way that you can do that. I'm not a fan of doing the hard inquiries. You might have saw my credit short where I said if you are trying to rebuild your credit, stop applying. That is because you can do other ways of getting credit without doing a bunch of hard inquiries, because it takes 2 years for those hard inquiries to come off your credit. And that makes up 10% of your score. So if you can get the secure loan, the secure credit card, or the authorized user card, those are 3 ways. And you want to make sure that if you do get the secure loan or secure credit card, make sure that you ask the person that you're with, will these things report to all 3 credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion? You want to make sure that it reports to all 3, and that way you're establishing a score on all 3 credit bureau reports, okay? So that's a key thing too. Make sure that ask the unnecessary questions. Are y'all gonna pull my credit for the secure loan? That's what you want to know first. And if they are, you might want to shop around first, okay? And number 2 is you want to make sure that they are going to report to all 3 credit bureaus your on-time payments, okay? And I would tell everybody, and I'm probably going to make another video, is to establish a relationship with your credit union or with your bank, whatever bank you already have. See what products they already got. If your check is coming direct deposit from your employer right now, you are already establishing a relationship. And I always tell people, if you do have a account somewhere that your money is going direct deposit into a real brick and mortar bank and not these online places that you can get your money on, like Chime and all that jazz. I'm talking about a real institution, a real bank. You want to make sure that you leave money in those accounts. You don't want to just every time you get your check, you go straight to the ATM and you pull out all the cash and you keep just enough in there so that they don't charge you a fee. Some accounts, may charge you if you don't keep a certain dollar amount in. You got to keep a minimum in or they'll charge you a fee. So you just keep whatever that, you might just keep $1 in just so the account don't close, but then you take out the $4.99. You take out your whole check, right? That is not establishing a relationship with that financial institution. Excuse me. You want to establish a relationship with the people that are keeping your money, because even if your credit is bad, say if you're with a credit union, even if your credit is bad, they may still give you a loan because you have a relationship. They see your face, they see you coming in, they see you using your account as it should be. Your checking account should be used as a checking account. I'm not saying go write a bunch of checks. If you're not responsible with those things, then don't use them, of course, because you don't want to pay fees, overdraft fees, blah, blah, blah. But you want to use your debit card, leave some money in there, pay your bills with your card. You can pay bills with cards. You can set up a draft. You want to keep a relationship. So when you do need money, when you do need lending, then they know the person, and you're not just someone driving up through the ATM, taking your money out, and that's all they know about you. You don't have a relationship with them. So I've seen this work because like I said, that's where I got my start at, was in credit unions. So I see it. I know it works. If you have a relationship with them, they see where your money coming in. You're not overdrafting your account. You are doing everything you're supposed to do with your account. Then you are establishing a relationship with that financial institution. And that's the kind of behavior that they want to see, right? So that is my top 3. That is my little nuggets for you today. If you are wanting to establish new credit, or if you are rebuilding, this is good for rebuilding as well, the secure lines or an authorized user on somebody's already established good credit. That is my top 3 ways to do it. Now, there are other ways, of course. And I'm gonna do a video on the top 3 terrible ways that you wanna rebuild your credit. I'm gonna do a video on that too. But that is my top 3 ways that is awesome, like low interest rates, you know, on secure means and on the authorized user. Those are my top 3 ways. So if this information was informative to you, please leave me a comment down below and let me know what you think about the video. Again, please consider liking the video. Also, if you're not a subscriber, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It is new, so I appreciate all the love coming in out the gate. Thank you so much for everybody that has talk to me, inbox me, whether on Facebook, TikTok, wherever that you actually saw my video at. I really do appreciate all the love and support. And so that's it for today, guys. Thanks again. Much love, much peace, much love, much peace, much prosperity to you. Thank you.